Hello, everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 12 of Season 9 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Mountain Dew 400 at Darlington Raceway, the famous Lady in Black track too tough to tame, as we're getting set for 40 laps of racing here for the 400 miler here at Darlington. Now, real quick note, I sincerely apologize for the failures I had with the last two race recordings at Talladega and Bristol. I thought that by using a higher distinguishable quality file on my recordings that the quality would come out a little bit better, but it turns out AVI video formats do not work on my editing software. So that is what had happened with the last two races. I thought that by increasing the quality, it would make it look better, but it turns out that, well, it's still the same, and also you can't edit AVI video files on CyberLink PowerDirector 16, but I digress. I got it back to how I had it set prior to Talladega, back to it being MP4 format, so finally, we got the actual race on instead of just an apology and the updated points heading into the following race to come. But also keep this note in mind, this is the last points race we're going to have until Monday, because this Friday it's going to be All-Star break as we head to Oswego for the second and final time this season, as we are doing All-Star breaks from now on at Oswego on dirt. And also, this Friday, before the All-Star race, will be the announcement of the Season 10 driver roster. Yes, I've already been working ahead as to who I want to participate in the following season in the big Season 10. And a little note, it's still going to be a 50-driver field. We're still going to have qualifying for drivers outside the top 30 in the point standings to try and make their way into the races. So none of that's going to change, but there will be a few new faces. More on that when we get to this Friday. But with all the stuff out of the way, let's get to this race. In the starting lineup in the last row, it's Ryan Acosta and Kyle Matthews. Top 10, Stuart Campbell is on the pole for tonight. Starting next to him is Jackson Traeger. Row 2, we have Alyssa Drayson, Daniel Voyles. Row 3, Stephen Colon and Zachary Fitzwater. Row 4, Seth Cole and Jay Jefferson. And then rounding out the top 10, Riley Henry and James Qualls. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Mountain Dew 400 at Darlington.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers on the track for the pace lap before we get to green flag racing. Yes, Stuart Campbell, despite being outside the top 30 in points, he has managed to qualify his way into every single race. So he's just really determined to finally break out and get some sort of momentum going. But he comes into this race 26 points behind the 30th spot in the standings. So he's going to have to really push it and hope that Jonathan Zorling, the driver who is 30th in the standings, makes a massive mistake and he can capitalize on it. Pace car is in the pit road, so you know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing. Stuart Campbell leading the first lap here at Darlington, as positions starting to shuffle a little bit from second on back, as right now in second is Alyssa Drayson in the 87, but here comes Daniel Voyles to the inside now. Voyles trying to still regain a little bit of the momentum he had at the beginning of the season. He was in the top 5 in the standings after Talladega, and then fell to 8th after Bristol this past Monday. But right now having a great performance going in second here in the early going. But then again, this is the early going, anything can happen. But now he's looking to go and make a move for the lead as he got his nose underneath Stuart Campbell. And now to the lead goes the 26 of Daniel Voyles. And Voyles already picked up a win earlier in the season back at North Wilkesboro, which was the second race of the year after Daytona. Voyles looking for win number 2, but here comes Stephen Colon in the 8 car. And Stephen Colon has been quite the qualifying master. He's got one of the best average starting positions at a 13.33. And I believe he started in the top 10 tonight. So he's definitely been very, very good at qualifying despite missing 2 races this season. And he comes into this race about 47 points outside of the 30th spot in the standings, and 33rd in the points overall. But Voyles coming back to try and get the lead back, and he will lead the lap. And then right behind Voyles, Seth Cole, the defending series champion. Now, Seth Cole, 14th in the standings. He's been slowly climbing his way up into the standings as he's looking to go for 2 championships in a row, to be the first driver in the history of not only Marvel Studios Cup Series, but the first driver in the history of this channel to win 2 straight championships. We've had a couple of 2-time champions in seasons past, as well as back in the old Walmart Cup Series days, but never anybody getting 2 in a row. I believe the closest someone came to getting 2 in a row was Dylan Young back in the Walmart Cup Series days, if I'm not mistaken. But Seth Cole currently leads here at Darlington, but how about James Qualls, who started 10th, now up to 2nd, and might actually get a run going to the inside of Seth for the lead in the turn 1, and he's got the momentum. So we're seeing the lead shuffle around quite a bit, so already we're off to a much better start with Darlington this time around than we did in this race 1 season ago, where it was a total wreckfest. And I'm not seeing anybody get the Darlington stripe yet, though it is inevitable here at this racetrack. But James Qualls currently leads. Qualls moved himself back into the top 20 in points after Bristol, after a solid performance, up to 18th in the standings. But Qualls definitely looking to get more than that. He wants to get his first win of the season, no question. And how about Patrick Smith? Patrick Smith has not had a very good start of Season 9. After all, he was a championship contender last season. This season, he's missed more than half of the races so far. Well, this is his 6th start in the 12th race of the season, so he has missed half the races. But he definitely is looking to want to come back next season and try and do all he can to make races and go for the championship once more. But up ahead in second currently, Jackson Traeger, who is dead last in the standings, well, tied for dead last in the standings with Adam Garcia. Finally made another race, currently having a great run going in second. Right behind him, Jay Jefferson, who had a really good run at Bristol back on Monday, currently up in the 3rd spot. Right now the highest driver for Shadow Cult Racing. And how about Matt McIntyre? We really haven't talked much about him this season, as he's kind of been sliding under the radar, 21st in the standings, but he's having a very, very strong run going right now in 4th. And then we got a little bit of a hornet's nest battle going on for 5th, but Carson Gum shuts the door on Alexander Rowe, and Carson Gum 15th in the standings. He's had a couple of good finishes, but nothing to really set the world afire. Meanwhile, Alexander Rowe, back in the top 5 in the standings, 5th in the standings, currently the highest rookie in points, and would be leading Rookie of the Year honors right now, as it stands. Then you have Alyssa Drayson, who is still fighting and clawing to get that first win in a long, long time, but having a great run going in 7th. And how about Ashlyn Boyd, despite dropping a spot in the standings after Bristol, still 3rd in points, been very consistent despite missing 1 race. He's been very, very dominant. 3 wins already on the year. Could he go for win number 4? We'll see. And then rounding out the top 10 currently is Dylan Young, who moved up to 12th in points after a great performance at Bristol. Maybe he'll come through with a better finish here tonight. Now let's look at the rest of the field of our full field rundown currently. Zachary Fitzwater is currently in 11th, 12th is Jonathan Zorleen, 13th Melissa Alexander, 14th Scott Groverston, the points leader, 15th Dylan Jacobs, 16th Daniel Bouchard, 17th Seth Cole, 18th Riley Henry, 19th Daniel Voyles, 20th Aaron Macklin. 21st is Caleb Kilburn, 22nd Joey Parkhill, 23rd Stephen Kalan, 24th Stuart Campbell, 25th Cole Deaver, 26th is Raphael Leduc, 27th Quentin Moore, 28th Mitchell Collins, 29th Charles Sanford, 30th Jessica Shelton, 31st Henry Sanford, 32nd Michael Norman, 33rd Kyle Matthews, 34th William Brock, 35th Jesse Turner, and then currently the bottom 5 is Jordan Forbes, Keith Miller Jr., Ryan Acosta, Jordan Lopez, and Henry Durand, who looks like he has gotten the Darlington stripe here in this race, and looks like he's the only one who has gotten it so far. But back up at the front, it's still single file, but they're all very, very close together. It's just more a matter of who's going to have the cojones to make a move. Right now, James Qualls, ever since he's taken the lead, he's been hanging on to that spot just by a steady margin. But Jay Jefferson looking down on the bottom to try and get some clean air on the front end in hopes he can reel in the 70 and make a move going into another corner. But he's going to buy his time for the moment. But yeah, everybody's almost connected like a train. It's just a matter of time before we see somebody decide to make a move, especially as we're getting to the halfway point of the race. And you gotta wonder about pit stops. When will drivers have to come to pit road for anything? But yeah, it's like everybody's almost super glued to each other's bumpers up here towards the front. But Jay Jefferson kind of pulled away a little bit from Matt McIntyre, and he's still trying to figure out what is he going to have to do to get a run by James Qualls to get the lead. You can see here in 1 and 2, Jefferson trying to run a lower line than the 70 to try and make a move, but to no avail, and it's gonna cost him, as now here comes Matt McIntyre, who peaked down low and is trying to get second, but I don't know what happened there. Jefferson just somehow just hung on the outside lane. Not sure how that all went down, but now we're starting to see some shuffling up here as Carson Gum got forced up to the outside as Alexander Rowe made the move for 4th. But Jefferson back up close to the back bumper of Qualls. So we're just waiting and seeing what's going to happen up here at the front, and if anybody's going to go for anything, or are they just trying to buy their time until they get to the end of the race. But yeah, Carson Gum has now fallen almost outside the top 10 now as he continues to lose positions. Excuse me. But yeah, James Qualls has so far been dominating this race after he passed. I'm trying to remember who it was he passed for the lead. It might have been Seth Cole, if I remember right. And nobody's been able to make a move on him, even though you got Jay Jefferson right there on his back bumper. He's just not been wanting to go for the move, or at least not just yet. As laps continue to wind down, 17 more to go, and now Jefferson decides it's go time as he's finally peaked down low, got underneath, and now to the lead will be Jay Jefferson. Although, let's see if Qualls can hang on the outside or not. Nope, not even close. And now Alexander Rowe going to go to the inside for second, Jackson Traeger inside of Matt McIntyre for fourth. So we're starting to see some shuffling going on up here towards the front of the field, and some big-time shuffling at that, as Jay Jefferson has the race lead by about 3 car lengths over Alexander Rowe. Yeah, about 3 car lengths, even though it's now going to be shrunk by 1 car length now, as Alexander Rowe's starting to get a little bit of momentum going, as he's now up to second. Currently the highest running rookie on the racetrack. And oh, does Rowe have anything for the inside of Jefferson? Yes, he does. To the inside goes the 66 of Alexander Rowe out of Wings of Glory Motorsports. Alyssa Drayson also going to peek to the inside of Jackson Traeger to get up to third, and now underneath Jefferson to get to second. I'm starting to see some of the Zev Bellringer Enterprise drivers make their presence known, as Drayson now trying to get to second, but also Melissa Alexander's been steadily climbing her way through the field, now up into the top 5. The only one missing is Joey Parkhill, and there he is around the 16th spot, about to get into the top 15. So pretty good day going for the Zev Bellringer Enterprise drivers. But a few of the Shadow Call Racing drivers also having solid runs. Jefferson, Groverston, and Jacobs. Dylan Jacobs trying to go for top 10, number 2 this season. But he's got Jonathan Zorline right behind him, and Zorline is the driver that Jacobs needs to get ahead on the racetrack to try and get back into the top 30 in points. And how about James Qualls? He has so far led the most laps, but now he's going to take second and try and work his way back up to Alexander Rowe and get the lead back. But still, you got to wonder about pit stops, because I don't know if they can go 40 laps on 1 tank of fuel and 1 set of tires. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how all that's going to play out. And just as I say that, here come some of those drivers to pit road. Melissa Alexander is the first one to pull in, followed by teammate Alyssa Drayson, Daniel Voyles, Ashlyn Boyd, Aaron Macklin, Cole Deaver, and Jordan Forbes, among many others. So a good chunk of the field came into pit road just now, but the top 3 stay out, Rowe, Qualls, and Groverston for the time being. But here comes Qualls and Groverston, although Groverston kind of gave a shot in the rear to Qualls and move him out of the way to try and pass him on pit road. And Alexander Rowe came in a little bit later. But now here comes pretty much the rest of the field, although a few drivers stay out, and I'm trying to figure out who they were. Quite a few, and Daniel Bouchard currently leads now, but he's got to come in at some point, followed by Smith, Gum, Kilburn, Shelton, Moore, and Colan. And those are the only ones yet to come in, and now Daniel Bouchard pulls in, but you still got a couple drivers still out there on the racetrack, Carson Gum being one of them, and Quentin Moore's the other. So these are the only 2 yet to come into pit road, and I don't know if this strategy is going to work out in their favor or not. We just gotta wait and see about how everything cycles around. But now here they come to pit road. So the 60 and the 27, the last 2 to come in. As I'm looking around, and it looks like if things were to cycle around, Alexander Rowe would still have the race lead, it looks like. As Daniel Bouchard is going to get passed by almost everybody up there in the top 5. Oh, don't try and pull a Dylan Young or a Kevin LePage there, Bouchard. Okay, he's starting to blend back in with everybody now, so it looks like it's okay. And now all the 66 has to do is pass these two, which he should have no problem in doing, and he makes it. So now we're going to try and do a top 20 rundown currently. Alexander Rowe is the leader, second James Qualls, third Dylan Jacobs, fourth Alyssa Drayson, fifth Aaron Macklin. Sixth is Daniel Bouchard, seventh Melissa Alexander, eighth Daniel Voyles, ninth Scott Groverston, 10th Jordan Forbes. 11th Jonathan Zorline, 12th Cole Deaver, 13th Joey Parkhill, 14th Keith Miller Jr., 15th Jackson Traeger, 16th Kyle Matthews, 17th Patrick Smith, 18th Jay Jefferson, 19th Caleb Kilburn, and then 20th is Charles Sanford. But now about the top 6 or so are starting to collect together again. Alexander Rowe leads with 6 laps to go, but it's anybody's race up here in the top 6. It's just a matter of making the right move at the right time. The 66 currently hanging off, or holding off, James Qualls for the lead, but now Alyssa Drayson's going for it, going to try and take second from Qualls and then have her sights set on the 66. But with that, that helped the 66 actually get a bit of a gap between himself and second place. And how about Aaron Macklin? Aaron Macklin, who did get a top 10 at Bristol, really ever since Daytona, he's just not been the same. But right now, having the best run he's had since Daytona, running in third, and now battle for the lead. Alyssa Drayson to the inside of Alexander Rowe. Side by side as we get across the line here, and Drayson will lead that lap, but Aaron Macklin's right there into the mix as well. But Alyssa Drayson in the 87 Life is Strange Toyota now leads here at Darlington, but she's... oh, I thought she was leaving a lot of bottom open for Aaron Macklin to make a move, but now Daniel Bouchard, who stayed out longer than most drivers, all of a sudden has found his way up to second. Perhaps Daniel Bouchard might have something up here for the leaders. We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But the 87 of Alyssa Drayson has been very, very determined to get her first win in a long time, as like I keep bringing up, she felt like she got robbed of a couple of wins back in Season 8 that she's still fuming about. She does not want to give this one away. 2 laps to go coming here at Darlington, and she's got a slight gap over second of Daniel Bouchard, and now Dylan Jacobs going to try and take second from the 19 of Bouchard. And this helps the 87 keep the lead for now, but does the 41 have anything for the 87? Former series champion Dylan Jacobs, maybe he's one to spoil the party for the 87 and try and get his first win in a little while. But I don't know if it's going to be enough, as we're taking the white flag here at Darlington, and Alyssa Drayson leads by almost 0.4 of a second, and Daniel Bouchard is not making it easy for Dylan Jacobs to get to second. So I think the 87's pretty much got this win in the bag, as these two continue to battle side by side. I don't know how Bouchard's managing to hang on to the top side, but it doesn't matter. Checkered flag is waving. Finally, Alyssa Drayson wins a race in quite a long time. Alyssa Drayson wins the Mountain Dew 400 at Darlington. Like I said, after last season, where her season was plagued by so close but no cigar moments, she finally pulls it off. And how about it at the toughest track on the circuit? Alyssa Drayson wins here at the Lady in Black. But let's look at the rest of the results. Daniel Bouchard, probably the most impressive performance of the race, if you ask me. Daniel Bouchard, who was really kind of a non-factor a lot of the race, stayed out longer than most people when it came to the pit stops, managed to actually make a ton of moves and actually make the outside lane work for a bit, as he finishes in second, the highest finishing rookie of the race, and that's his first top 5 and top 10 of his career. So kudos to the 19 of Bouchard. Dylan Jacobs, much needed phenomenal run in third. Could not get the inside lane to work for him at the end, but still great points day, his first top 5 of the season in 3rd. James Qualls also with his first top 5 in 4th and continuing a little bit of momentum for himself. And how about Aaron Macklin? Got his second top 10 last Monday at Bristol. Gets his first top 5 since winning the Daytona 500 here tonight, finishing in 5th. And 2 straight races, the 66 finishing in 6th. This is getting scary, but regardless, Alexander Rowe gets a great performance in the 6th spot. Daniel Voyles starting, hopefully trying to get momentum back on his side, finishing in 7th. Jonathan Zorling with a solid performance in 8th. Jordan Forbes needed that run of 9th to keep from falling out of the top 30, finishing in 9th. And then Scott Groverston, the points leader, continuing to show dominance, but his top 5, top 10 statistics have been broken, as this is his first non-top 5, top 10 finish. So, but still, great points day, and will more than likely extend his points lead. Then there is your top 20, your top 30, and then the bottom 5 for this week were William Brock, Jesse Turner, Riley Henry, Dylan Young, and Henry Durand. But caution-free race at Darlington, that's a little bit unheard of, but regardless, congrats to Alyssa Drayson for finally winning a race for the first time in about a season and a half. But thank you guys for watching here at Darlington, and that's our last points race until Monday. But this Friday, not only are we getting the Season 10 Raw driver roster announcements, but it's All-Star break at Oswego. But until then, here is Alyssa's victory burnout, as well as the point standings heading into All-Star break, as well as the race on Monday. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.